What's going on, everybody? We are live here on Tuesday night for another episode of the Live Well. A little bit different setup tonight. So we got Tim McGuire here. We got Dylan Fogarty with us as our guest. I've got to do things a little bit different tonight because when I log into Restream, I don't get the little intro video. So you guys get to hear us do it old school. So I'm going to read out our sponsors real quick, take care of a little bit of housekeeping stuff that Danny has got set up for us. Y'all make sure you bring your comments tonight. We got a great guest. I got to meet him down at ICAST. Let me read through these sponsors real quick. We got the show is brought to you by Digital Sportsman. Digital Sportsman's online guide service they're coming out with. Danny's actually in Salt Lake City, I think it is right now, working with Digital Sportsman. So, make sure you go check them out. Groove Tackle. Danny showed y'all the Groove Tackle boxes. He's got, they've got some really innovative designs that hold your tackle really well. We've got Sonar Pros. If you listen, we've talked about them for a long time. They specialize in high-end electronics installations. If you want to get it done right, go to Sonar Pros. We got Lip Sticker Fishing. I've personally been with Kevin on the boat on Lake Lanier, and he will put you on some megalodon spotted bass, big largemouth, and he does it all over the lake. Y'all check him out. Get with Lip Sticker if you want to get a guide trip set up. Bill Payne, the living legend Bill Payne. I personally have I've been in the same room with the man, and he spits knowledge. He's probably got more knowledge in his little finger than I'll ever have. I've used some of his techniques. You guys have seen that. We've got Brooks Anderson. Listen, the kid is a hammer. I call him a kid. He's a man, but he is an absolute hammer on Lake Lanier. He specializes in teaching young folks how to fish, getting them on the lake, putting them on their PB spots. I think you just got somebody their PB this week, if I'm not mistaken. Absolute, you did, yeah. Absolute hammer, and just pleasure to be around. We got Money Saver Lure Retriever. Listen, we spend big money on these lures. I lost one today. Spent a bunch of money on it. Lost it because I didn't have a lure retriever on the boat. I sent down a cheap one. Guess what? Got a cheap one lost and a lure lost. So make sure you get you a Money Saver Lure Retriever. Turner Tire, Jasper, Georgia. If you need your tires, brakes, alignment, stuff like that done, get with Turner Tire. They are, family-owned business, and they support the show. Big League Charters. He's, that's Rob Orblowski. He's up there at Fort Loudon, Tellico, Watts Bar, and Chickamauga. I'm actually going with Rob this weekend. We're going to go up there to Chickamauga. My first time ever going there. I'm hoping to get some juice today so I can go up there and catch some of those big smallmouth. It'll be the first time I've ever caught a smallmouth. Fishers of Hope. Listen, I can't say enough good about Tony over there at Fishers of Hope. Super, super nice guy. Nice family. They put on benefit tournaments for people in need. Please, 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 if you can't make it to one of their tournaments they're putting on, donate to it, support them, share out their social media stuff and get it out there because they really do a good job, and I really appreciate them. And then we got Atlanta Safe House, the leading safe, retailer in Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, and Kentucky. They have got a huge, huge warehouse full of safes. I've got to try to get up there one day. I know Danny just did a little tour up there, but great folks, and get your safes, up there with them. And I think that's everybody. I hope I didn't miss anything. I had to write everything down because it's been a long time since we've done it that way.
It's been a hot minute.
I got kind of complacent with the intro video. I'm not going to lie. So when I couldn't find it, I messaged Danny. He called me. He's like, oh, it's right here. Nope. I think it's saved on his computer. So, but anyway, excuse me. We've got Dylan Fogarty here with us. I got to meet Dylan down at ICAST through Mullet. If you guys remember, we had him on the show. Super nice guy. It was the end of one of the days, but like I said, super nice guy. He said, hey, I'd love to come on the show one day. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of didn't forget. I saw him on another podcast. I'm like, we got to get him on the show. And then I got tasked with, doing tonight. I'm like, I got the perfect guest. So, and it works out really good because you fished a Georgia lake in the wintertime. Did really well, and guess what? We're in the wintertime and we're in Georgia, so you can at least give us some knowledge about that. We got a comment right here at War Eagle the Best. Where can I see the tournament results for Toys for Tots? If you go to Big Shanty Bassmasters on their Facebook page, they released all the results for that. They've got a whole like a Excel spreadsheet, whatever it is. They released all those results there.
So it's all there.
Yep, and make sure you give those guys a follow. Like the Toys for Tots thing is a huge deal. Before I go much further, guys, sorry, I know I keep going back to stuff. I want to make sure we bring up we've got a couple of different things. I know Mr. Hunter, passed away, but they're still doing this tournament on 21st on Lake Hartwell at Gum Branch Mega Ramp. Y'all make sure if you can, go fish that. If you can't, please donate something, because they still have a family. His family's still in need, and they want to provide as much support as they can for the family. And I hate to hear that, but y'all reach out to that as well. And then we've got Blue Ridge Marine fill a boat toy drive. I think they're still doing that. You can do all that stuff. Drop it off up there at Blue Ridge Marine, 12166 Morganton Highway, Morganton, Georgia. So I appreciate that. Again, sorry about that. I want to make sure I get those two things in. All this stuff I got to do over here. It's a lot easier when you're a co-host and not having to host the show, right? But anyway, Dylan, we're gonna get into it now. I've got all the stuff out of the way. I appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you being here again. I know we finally got you on here. We finally got everything going. So I'm going to throw you a softball question real quick. Just tell us about yourself. Tell us a little bit background, fishing history, whatever you feel led to tell us.
Yeah. So, my name's Dylan Fogarty. 23 years old. So, in that scope era of those anglers, I live in South Central Pennsylvania. Not a huge area for bass fishing, but I made it work. I went to school at Bethel University in Northwest Tennessee. There's probably a lot of people that are familiar with that. One of the top, bass fishing colleges in the country, and fished there for 4 years and graduated, had some good success on the college trail, and made my way into the opens last year, fished Division I, and this year I am fishing both divisions, and you'll see how it goes. I missed out on the EQ series by 11 points last year and was kind of disappointed. So this is kind of my rally season.
Got you. So what made you decide to fish both divisions?
I have a lot of support from my sponsors, which I'm extremely grateful for, and which kind of allowed me to be able to fish both divisions. Last year, I wasn't sure what kind of support I was going to have. I got started on the ball late, like a month after they had released the schedule. I decided that I was going to fish it, and these companies have their budgets made up by October, and so I was kind of late getting to that, and wasn't sure what kind of financial backing I was going to have, but so that's mainly why I only fish one division. And so, this year I got a lot of free time, and looking forward to, going to a lot of places where I haven't been before, and, revisiting some places where I have been. So.
Right. I'm going to go back to something you said a minute ago. You said your age, which is 23, which you're the same age as my oldest daughter, but you're 23. You said in the scope era of things, but I know you kind of not have to say that, but you've been fishing since what? You were 3.
Yeah, 3. Yeah.
I mean, but and everybody's like, well, yeah, but everybody fishes when they're 3 or 4 years old with their dad or whatever. But you started tournament fishing at what age?
I was probably 9 or 10.
Yeah, I think your About Me page said like 10 years old. You joined the bass club up there where you're at.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that's 13 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They didn't have live scope then. They didn't have forward facing sonar then. So you've been fishing tournaments since before that technology existed, that particular technology. So we'll make sure we don't take away from the fact that you've been tournament fishing for as much, for a long time. I mean, that's pretty.
I say live scope era, but I really mean like when live scope came out is when,
I know.
I was a year or two into college, and it came out, and that was really like a big learning experience for all the guys who are in college.
I only do that because we got one of our guys. He's in the comments already. His name's Cranky and Yank. We love him to death. He's our Louisiana guy, but he fishes that Cypress knees that he can't stand forward facing sonar. But I want to give you your credit. You've been fishing a long time, and it's not just the forward facing thing. You're able to and listen. I'll say this: I watched a bunch of your videos. The Clarks Hill, if I'm not mistaken, while I was watching that, when you were on those fish, didn't like you were looking at a whole lot of live scope.
No, and I'm not the best at it either. Like I've had it since it came out, and I'm still not I still don't love to use it. Like if I can turn it off and fish the whole day, I'm way more excited to do that than stare at the screen all day. But it is a tool, and I will use it. And it has its place and time, and it definitely helps to have it.
Well, I mean that's a good way to put it. We all, a lot of us say that. We hear that, you got to see who this is. Sorry, J Plank Outdoors. He fished the Bass Club with me.
Yeah, I fished the that club that I fish in. He was in the youth club with me when I was fishing the youth club, and
Okay.
that club is now a sponsor of mine. And we do a lot of fundraisers and hot dog sales to raise money for the youth program now. And there's youth and adult tournaments, and I volunteer to be a boater for the youth tournaments every time I can because
go ahead and give them a shout out.
Yeah, it's Capital City Bassmasters in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. They they like that's where I learned how to tournament fish because my dad's from Connecticut. He was a saltwater fisherman. Like he taught me the basics, and then when I joined this club, like all the adults took me under their wing, and they take me out on the river, take me out on the lakes, teach me everything. So that's kind of where all my knowledge, that and YouTube, that's where all my knowledge came from.
There you go. And Cranking's getting on to me. He's like, let the man tell his own story. Dang. Well, listen, he was being a little, he's being humble. He was just being humble. I'm just making sure he gets it out there. And then J Plank says, yeah, Tony. So so sorry guys if I cut anybody off. I wasn't trying to do that. I was making sure we got it, making sure we got all this stuff in there. But so when again, I tell his own story, but I've got a couple of questions already written down, but I'm trying to figure out where to start with it because I want to make sure you get the credit where it's due. So my first question, you went to college, you fished high school, you fished, in college, but in high school, tell us about your high school experience fishing in high school.
Yeah. So, I actually started we called it a club because it wasn't allowed to be recognized as a sport. I started the fishing club at my school when I was a freshman, just because I wanted to do high school tournaments. I didn't want to just do these club tournaments, although they were fun. Like I wanted to, get more competitive. And, so I started the club there, that allowed me to fish some local high school tournaments, like head-to-head style, tournaments here that PA Bass Nation put on. Obviously the PA Bass Nation high school tournaments. And then my senior year, my partner and I actually went out to the Mississippi River in Wisconsin and fished the world finals out there. Finished like 63rd out of 300 boats they have there. So it was really eye-opening. And then throughout my high school career, just because of all the like conservation stuff and stuff I did with like my volunteering and my tournament finishes and everything, I was recognized as a Bassmaster High School All-American 2 years in a row, my junior and senior year of high school. So that was a really cool experience. Got to go down to Texas and fish with an Elite Series pro, and that's what really got me recognized by a bunch of colleges. I think I got like 4 or 5 scholarship offers from colleges, and Bethel University actually didn't even reach out. I reached out to them because like from when I got into high school, that's like I wanted to go to Bethel University. So I reached out to them, and Coach Gary Mason offered me a scholarship and went on from there. So
maybe you mentioned, I just misheard, but you started the high school. You got the high school team started, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Exactly. And so my follow-up question, and you said you always wanted to go to Bethel, and that was one of my questions. Why Bethel? Why particularly that college?
Yeah. I mean, like growing up, like for me through middle school and high school, you just kept hearing all these big names like John Garrett, Cody Huff, Tristan McCormick, which I'm really good buddies with Tristan now, and he just made the Elite Series. Super proud of him for that.
Yeah, well, good deal, man. I mean, that's that was like I said, you hear big names coming out of all these different schools, but you've got here recently you get the Montevallos and the Emmanuels and stuff like that you hear so much more about. You still hear, but you obviously hear about Bethel too. But I wanted that was kind of one of my ones where so you had a few people that you saw come out of there that you're like, what, I'll look up those guys. And that answered my question really well. Yeah, Kendra, they're busting me up pretty good over here. That's okay. Yes, Crank, and he was 16 when Live Scope came out. That's very good math. And then Fisher Dye Bait Co. PA stud right there, boys. Yep, got him down there at ICAST too. He's one of your is he one of your sponsors?
He is one of my sponsors. Yep. Yeah, I've been with him for maybe 4 years now.
There you go.
His company is almost brand new. He started in 2021, I think. And
right.
So he's already got his stuff in Tackle Warehouse, and he's doing really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's got some good baits. I've got a few of them. He's got some good baits for sure. And then Kendra said, sorry guys, everything keeps jumping over here. Wish I had high school fishing teams when I was young. I would have loved it. Yeah, I think there's a lot of us out there that if we could have fished in high school, we probably wouldn't be where we're at. We may be broke. I don't know where we'd be at. More broke than we are. And then War Eagle the Best has a question here. What makes some pros the best in live scope games? Speed, they cover water, bait, retrieve, eliminate trash fish from looking at the screen, etc. That's a pretty good question because that's one of the questions I have, when it comes to forward facing.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is experience. I know I said I've had it since it came out, and I'm still not the best. That's what separates the pros from, like me who wants to be a pro. But like experience, like not even just during tournaments, like going out and just solely focusing on that. That's really big. Eliminating trash fish. That's something that I've gotten a lot better. Like I can recognize what's a drum from a catfish from a bass now, or even a white bass. I mean, sometimes, you can mix them up. They're easy to mix up, but speed, they cover the water. I mean, if you get around an area where they should be, it's not really a thing of covering water with live scope, more or less getting in an area where they will be, or you think they should be, and just picking it apart with live scope.
So how would you break down, and you don't have to go specific or anything like that, but how would you break down and say, okay, I'm going to find, what's the way you're finding that spot to be able to begin to pick it apart like that? What are you doing to get to that point?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would, if I'm like, say I'm going to fish like a cove, like I'm coming into a cove and I know the Damiki bite's on fire. I'm going to start out from the cove, maybe 100 yards, and just work my way in. Obviously looking at contours, seeing if, they get real tight, or maybe there's old house foundations on a map or something. Like online resources are honestly your best tool for that kind of stuff, whether it be like old topographic maps, or if you're fishing like a flooded lake that had house foundations, stuff like that. That's like the best thing you can do. Any sort of little point, like it doesn't have to be like a huge main lake point. It could be, you're coming into a ditch and there's a little tiny, like 25 square yard hump that comes off, and there could be giant school fish there. So it's really just like finding little inconsistencies that other people may not find.
Right.
And, being able to recognize those and, find fish that way.
I got you. So I had to pull up TikTok because those questions don't come up in here. So somebody asked, what would you do on Clark's Hill this time of the year? Which is not much further than where you were at this time last year, basically. I mean, we're a month out.
Yeah, it was January. I really wanted to, because I had heard a bunch about the ditch fishing. That's something I had never done, so I really wanted to get out there and learn it. And the one thing that I didn't realize that I wish I knew, and I probably could have done a little better in the tournament if I knew this, was that those fish, even on live scope, will not show themselves. They're so tight to the bottom, and you really just have to get in a ditch where you think they are, throw a bait down there, and you see fish coming off the bottom, then they're there.
Yep.
And they're active, they're feeding, they're wanting to eat, and I think that was a big key for those guys that placed really high, was finding the fish that wanted to eat, even though they couldn't see them. They were just running as many ditches as they could, throwing a Damiki bait or Nico rig or whatever it may be down there, and waiting to see those fish come up off the bottom.
Right.
So, I mean, that's what I would do looking back at it now. But what I did do was I got just inside some longer creek arms just off the main lake, and I found the steepest bank I could and just started slowly dragging a jig, because those fish will use those steep banks and hard channel bends leading back up into spawning pockets as a highway, really. And it's just it's a good spot to find a concentration of fish. And obviously targeting largemouth, doing that, the guys were targeting largemouth scoping ditches, but fishing shallow like that, I was really dragging my jig into like 35 foot of water, but fishing shallow like that is a really good way to get a big bite.
Right. So that spot you were sitting on, you said it was 35 foot deep right there?
I was catching them between 30 and 40 foot.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't quite realize that they were that deep. That's
I was only 20 yards off the bank, but
yeah, you were And that's why I say, I don't think Clark's Hill sets up like, where I fish, but at the same time, we've got bluff walls, but they drop off into 100 foot of water where I'm at. It's the only bad part. But yeah, you can get back in some of the creek arms and you're still, like you said, you're still sitting in, 20, you're not even 20 yards. You can be 5 foot off of it and be, 30, 40 foot deep. So it makes a lot of sense. I mean, and the bluff walls, man, you can't forget those bluff walls this time of the year. I saw some guys hitting, and in fact, I hit one today. So we got all kinds of comments in here from apparently Cranking Yankin likes to say 6'7". he's got grandkids talking about it, and it does mean nothing from what I understand. I'm with you, Cranking Yankin. My granddaughter says it too. Kendra Mueller, she says, I see it happen all the time. Go so tight at the bottom of the live scope, won't pick them up. We had Tim help me remember who it was we had on here that was talking about blinker fish. I can't think of the name. I just remember saying blinker fish.
Paul.
Huh?
Paul was talking.
Yep.
And blinker fish.
And I'll never forget that. I've been out there and go, the rocks don't blink at you. Them fish will blink because they'll move just a little bit or whatever. And that helps me, when it comes to that. But I'm noticing they're sticking tight to the bottom right now. And they're hard to find in some places.
Another good thing to like pick those fish out is having good wire too, and having a good battery and having good voltage to your unit. That's super important.
That's 100% correct. People don't realize the importance of having the electronics wired properly and, the correct gauge wire, the correct power and all that stuff. And you're 100% right on that. And that's why we say go to Sonar Pros, because they will get you wired up correctly. They rig a lot of the pros boats. Tim, are the live wells clean? Doc Holliday wants to know.
They are. If anyone saw my youngest daughter's TikTok, it was a spoof of the what is that? I'm driving in Mom's car, vroom vroom.
Yeah.
She went out and got the boat and set up and was like, I'm driving Dad's boat, vroom vroom. So her mom and I decided to take it and run with it. So I added clean the live wells and popped them open. So that's what he's getting at.
There we go.
So far, it's cooking on all the media platforms. It's cute.
There you go. That's always good then. It's all we can hope for. Tim, do you got any questions, Mr. Dillon?
Not yet. I'll pop in with one here in a minute.
I thought Papa Pondhopper was saying he coached the kid, talk about Dillon, but no, he's talking about the guy that started 6'7" apparently. So
I don't even know what that is, and I heard it out of the two little ones' mouths this afternoon after I got them from school.
Yeah,
something about 6'7". I have no clue.
My 4-year-old granddaughter will come in and just repeatedly say it. I'm like, would you please stop? I don't care. All right, so Cranking Yankin's got a serious question. Do all 3 of the guys on the panel scope? I do. I use it. Yes.
You have to. I mean, I'm okay. Okay, you don't have to, but it's a great tool.
No, you don't have to. I kind of crisscross up. I don't really target fish and watch the bait go to them as much as someone else might.
Mm-hmm.
I use it to find the structure just to throw it.
That's mainly what I use it for.
Right. Yeah. I'll scan around. I'll be like, hey, there's a big foundation or rock pile right there that you really probably wouldn't have paid much attention to. And you might even see some blinkers on it, as Paul called them.
Mm-hmm.
So I use it for locating more than I do just watching baits.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, I break it up a little bit. I do a little bit of everything with it just because I was trying to learn the minnow game over the last year or so, but I use it more to find stuff like, I want to see the drop off. I want to see the brush pile, or I want to see if there's fish on the brush pile, something like that. But to answer your question, to make you maybe a little bit happier, my partner and I placed 3rd at the Toys for Tots, and there's a guy on TikTok asked if I'm going to break it down. So I'll go ahead and say it in front of everybody here. The gentleman that I fish with asked me not to divulge locations or baits. Even the guys in the bite club don't know how we caught them.
Have no clue.
Yeah, they don't know how I caught them or how we caught them, because I will say that we caught all my fish by lunchtime. But we did not use forward facing in the sense that everybody uses it now. We had it on, we used it, but we were not minnowing any fish. I can tell you that right now. And it was one of the most, the guy's 61 years old, and I've honestly never fished with a guy that fished that efficient and cool, calm, and collective the entire tournament. So I'll leave it at that. That's my, we didn't come here to talk about what we did, but yeah, so I do use it. We do use it, but it is what it is. All right, so we got a good question here, Dylan. What's your advice to young anglers and their parents wanting to get into tournaments? That's from Miles McKenna, 3765.
Yeah, he's a good buddy of mine. He's actually in the club
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing nowadays is definitely social media. Just not only to get your name out there, but to be able to learn how to market yourself before you market your sponsors. And like obviously TikTok's a huge thing now. YouTube, it has been big for the fishing community, and it's still growing. Instagram, and that's something where I feel like I kind of lacked going up through high school and college. Like I did it more than other people would, but I feel like I should have done it more to better prepare myself for the future, wanting to be a professional angler. But that social media is definitely one of the best ways I think you can prepare yourself for something like that. Like I said, getting your name out there to potential future sponsors, and then obviously just like experience going to different lakes, going to different parts of the country and fishing. And that's something that I didn't really do up until my senior year when I went to Wisconsin for the World Finals. Like I had never fished outside of like Delmarva, like Pennsylvania, Maryland, New York, Massachusetts. Like that's all where I fished. Like I didn't go anywhere else until I went to college. So
what you say that because I'm kind of like that. I mean, I fished Georgia and Alabama, and that's been my most of my experience. And so what was your biggest learning point from going and fishing other lakes? Like, I know that's kind of a vague, general kind of whatever question, but what would you say has been the biggest eye opener experience of going and fishing different parts of the country like that?
I mean, like being from Pennsylvania, just how good these other fisheries are, like, and learning how these other fish set up. Like where I'm from, we've got like I'm kind of smack dab. I'm an hour and a half. The closest lake where you can run an outboard motor is an hour and a half from me, and then I'm an hour and a half from the Chesapeake Bay as well. So I'm kind of smack in the middle there. So it's a rough day trip to do something like that. But just when I got down to college, like fishing the Tennessee River was like super eye opening. I was actually able, because we have the Susquehanna River right here, and that's smallmouth jet boat fishing, and using my knowledge of like the smallest things, like the current, how the current sets up and how it positions fish in the river. I was able to apply that to like to the TVA and learn how fish set up on bars and stuff. So I just something cool like little like that.
So a lot of it.
Yeah, I love the Tennessee River.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping to get some good fish this weekend. That'll be something. So I mean that's pretty cool. I mean that's one thing I think that I struggle with was realizing that a lot of stuff carries over, correlates, however you want to say it. A lot of stuff carries over, and then there can be some stuff that's completely different. Like, I mean, you get on a grass lake or something like that, it may do something totally different, even though it's a river system or whatnot. So, I mean, that's pretty good. Next question we got here is from Papa Pond Hopper. If there's ice on parts of the pond, is it worth fishing, or are the fish kind of shut down?
If you can get to where the fish are, they're bud. Oh, they got to eat. I know the 1 year before I got with my partner that I fished with in college, he fished one of the Bassmaster National Championships by himself on Grand Lake in Oklahoma, and like 3/4 of the lake was frozen, and he was catching them throwing a shaky head on rock piles. Like they still got to eat whether the water temperature's 30 degrees or not.
I think we get wrapped up around a lot of that temperature, water temperature and stuff, to my fish be lethargic or what. I've seen fish go crazy. I mean, they were schooling this morning on top water. I mean, they weren't schooling on top water bait.
They're cold-blooded. I mean, they acclimate to the temperature of their environment.
Right.
So.
Right. And then Kendra, she wants to know where you're from again, Dylan.
South Central Pennsylvania, actually just outside of Harrisburg. So
there you go. Good deal. And then Patricia Leanne Shaw said 5-pound spots are biting on Lanier. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
I'm looking forward to coming down.
Man, I'm telling you, it's almost like not worth it because it'll spoil you. I mean, them fish are stupid up there. I don't mean stupid as in they'll bite anything. I mean stupid like when you catch one, you don't realize
Magnum spots.
you don't realize what you got. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's unreal. And then BCW Baits wants to know, do you have a job to supplement your fishing career?
I kind of bounce, like when I'm home from the season, I kind of bounce around jobs. Like this past fall, I had a job at a pool place, like opening and closing pools. So that's what I did up until a couple of weeks ago, and now I'm sitting in my garage getting tackle organized and getting ready for the next season. Because a lot of people don't realize, like, when you do this and you got sponsors, 50% of the work is on your computer. It's like, it's ridiculous how many emails I've sent in the past 2 weeks. Like, so.
Oh yeah. So, and that you talked about it a little bit ago, and it was one of the questions I had. How would you recommend, and you can do's or don'ts or however you want to break it down, for a young person or anybody, somebody my age even, that's trying to get sponsored, whether it be for fishing those tournaments or being a brand rep or however? What is your input on that as far as that goes? I see videos all the time about guys talking about it, but I want to get somebody because you got some big sponsors.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'd like to hear your side of it.
Yeah, I actually just had a high school kid message me the other day about this, and I told him, like, when you go out and you look for sponsors, you can send 200 emails to different companies, but you know how many emails they get in a day of the same people looking for the same thing? Thousands, I'm sure. So I said, no matter how small the company is, if you use their products and you actually enjoy them, it makes it that much easier to be able to talk about them, naturally, instead of looking like you're a salesman for them and trying to push these products that you don't actually believe in. That's what I did with, like, Fisher Dye Bait Company. Like, he had just started in 2021. I think I reached out to him in 22, and I'll be honest, I hadn't used any of his baits before. I just saw that he was a local startup company, and I'm like, I want to get into this professional fishing. I'm looking for sponsorship. I don't care. I think the first 2 years it was strictly just like 50% off. It was like a pro staff thing, and I used his baits and I fell in love with them, and now we're here and he's sponsoring me on the opens. So I mean, it's just something simple as that, and like, don't expect to get $5,000 from a sponsor the first year you start doing it. Like, it really is baby steps.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and I've heard pros say, don't devalue yourself by taking the free bait deals and all that stuff. But at the same time, you walk into somewhere and they don't know who you are. It's kind of hard to get that. Like you said, you don't get that $5,000 check. They're not just out there handing out money like that. So that's a good point. Use their products. That's another, if you can use it, make some content and tag them and all that good stuff too. Here's a good question.
That goes back to like my youth anglers wanting to get into it. Like, start tagging companies that you use in your social media posts. Like, it doesn't hurt. It can only help. And like, it
doesn't hurt at all.
They look at that. Just like, believe it or not, they have things that track stuff like that, and
they sure do.
They know that.
And our friend Andrew Blair put out a video today talking about what makes it quality content, why they want to share your content more. Not using profanity and not, smoking, whatever, do whatever, make it quality content that they can repost easily without making a mark on their brand. And that's another way. I mean, because the more you do for them, they like you said, they see that stuff, they track it all.
Yeah. And like, they look at that, like, social media and stuff way more than if you finish first in this tournament or dead last in this tournament. They could care less about that. It's like, it's your following on social media. Do you have a lot of followers, and can you push whatever these products are to, your following? That's they care way more about that.
Right. I mean, and so that just goes to prove, you're saying that you're young, you're also fishing professionally, and you're saying social media is a thing that you need to be focused on if you're doing it. Basically, you can't just let it go by the wayside. I mean, we see some of the pros like, I'm just getting into it, or I really don't do that well at it, and you'll see them go for a little bit and then kind of stop. And I'm like, but they're already there in that position, I guess.
Yeah.
Michael Bradley 25 has a great question. For a recreational angler, do you think side scan will be more beneficial than forward facing sonar?
That is a good question. I think side scan would probably be more beneficial. You can apply side scan to a lot more techniques, I think, than you could with forward facing. And side scan is such a big tool. It's definitely something you want to learn. You don't want to just pass that up and just go straight to scoping. Because I mean that's all I used before scope came out was side scan, and it helps you learn really how fish set up. And usually, if you have side scan, you got down scan too.
Right.
It really helps you learn how those fish set up and how, like on certain structures and stuff, whether it be a ledge or a bar or like a patch of grass or something. And so I think it's a way bigger tool than forward facing sonar would be if you had to pick between one or the other.
I know I can, Tim, and you can please chime in on this. I figured out, because I bought my boat. I went and put new graphs on it and put, forward face sonar on it. First time I'd ever used it. And of course I went into that whole, like we all do, you start staring at the scope and you're doing that. So I did that for who knows how long, it seemed like forever. And then I started watching more of the, like the Johnny Schultz Fish the Moment, stuff like that. And I realized I'm spending a lot of time on that front deck, wearing my knees out, looking around with front forward facing, when I can sit behind the wheel of that dang boat and I can scan an area in a minute or two versus half a day, it feels like. So I'm not the best at side scan, but like this morning I put in a boat ramp. It's known to have fish on the end of it. Everybody always leaves it, but I side scan and down scan. When I left this morning, school of fish sitting on the side. I was like, there they are. Even though I left them alone, I'm like, well, I saw them. There they were. But
yeah, you can pull in and sit down somewhere and start watching that side scan. And once you learn what the fish look like, if they're off the bottom, and you see the little tic tacs or whatever, and you can scan a whole area a whole lot faster, then turn around and upgrade to something else to pinpoint them, to get a better look and eliminate a lot of wasted time, I think.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I've got probably 200 waypoints in one little area because I'll go through and scan and mark the fish as I drive through them. And then because all my graphs are networked, so I'll get up on the front deck, spin it around. And I'm like, there they are right there. There's my, I'm pointing right towards them. I will say, and Dylan, maybe you can, chime in on this, Tim, you as well, because I'm still getting up there, but I've only got 9-inch screens. I will say, if you can upgrade to the bigger screens for your side scan, it makes it a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah,
you can see a lot better.
Yeah, I grew up fishing with I don't even know what it was, like a Helix 7 or something on my dad's old boat. And so once I got my boat, it came with like an 1199 and a 989 maybe on the front, the old Hummingbirds. And just like 2 or 3 years ago, I got two 12-inch Helixes on my console, and I got a 10-inch Helix up front and a 10-inch scope screen, which I really want to get a 12-inch for before the season starts, because my buddy Miles, he's got a 12-inch, and every time I get in his boat, it's like a world of difference.
And I see guys complaining the 12 inch is too small. They want a 16. And then now NBT and whatever the other guy on TikTok I've seen, they've got the dang 16, 19, 21s. They've got all those screens up there now. I mean, I guess, I'm right. I'm still working off a 9-inch screen on the front too. And but man, prices are crazy.
Yeah,
it's a big jump from a 9 to a 12 and then to a 16. It's a leap.
I was looking at the 16 and I was like, the only way I'm getting this is if I get a Garmin code or something, because I'm not. Yeah.
Well, they had a sale last Christmas. I could have got the HDS, the pre-pro version, so the original HDS Lowrance for under $1,200 with all my codes and stuff. And I didn't do it, and now I'm kicking myself. I'm like, but still, $1,200. I'm like, God, it's a lot of money to sink into a boat that, mine's older boats. Anyway, Doc Holiday, did anyone see a lot of loons Saturday? Cole and I saw 35 to 40, 25 in one group. Yeah, we were coming back in. Well, we saw loons everywhere we fished at. I don't know about y'all, but we were coming back in, and the birds were going nuts in this little pocket. But we had about 15 minutes to be back, so I'm afraid we probably missed some really good fish that were there. But it just is what it is. Bottom Line Outdoors has got another good question. During the wintertime when fish are tight to the bottom, how many fish do you think anglers miss because they don't see them?
A lot.
Thousands. I missed them all. I missed them all just because I didn't know that. Like I said, I'm kicking myself now for not realizing that that's what they were doing. So,
yep. And I mean, I was out today looking in ditches and on ledges, ledges leading to ditches, and I wouldn't see anything on forward facing sonar. And then I would run over top of them and they would come up off the bottom as I ran over top of them. I'm like, I should have thrown there. You kept saying I should have thrown there, but you didn't know they were there until you ran over top of them. So it is what it is.
We had a lot Saturday that were like that. I would look around and it's like, doesn't look like much activity. And the next thing you know, you want to separate from the bottom to come look at your bait.
Yep. Yeah, it's just wild. Kendra says, I use my live scope to locate fish, but not good at using it to actually target and catch them like the pros with it. They never even look up and can accurately cast and catch. And I know it's not. Go ahead.
I mean, it comes with experience. Like hitting your target on such like a small beam is so hard, and being able to put it just past them and learn your distances. You really just, like, when I was learning, I just went out on the lake with one rod. Wasn't even like trying to catch fish. I went out there and I learned, and I could visualize how far the distances were, like where I was hitting and stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean, absolutely. Practice. That's all I can say is practice. And if you change to cast braid, you'll have to learn it all over again because you'll throw 30 yards past where you thought you
way past it. Yeah,
I mean,
you'll send it.
Holy crap! I throw way past it. I'm like, I threw out of the screen view at this point. But yeah, practice with it. Jeff Brazil, what's your favorite way to catch them, Dylan, and your favorite lake? It's a great question.
The old queen tackle, bladed jig.
Bladed jig. There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Favorite lake. Even though we won on Chickamauga, it's got to be Gunnersville.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You like Gville, huh?
I do. I got a buddy that lives up there in Grant. And last year when I was heading home from Tom Bigby in Mississippi, I went and stayed there for a couple of days, and because I hadn't been there since I was in college, and it's just like any time of year, it's just phenomenal.
I've had those days up there that kick my butt though, so I got to go more often.
Yeah.
But it's like a 2.5 hour drive from my house. So it's not one of those, like you said, it's kind of hard to make a day trip out of it. And
yeah,
I've done it.
It's about 10.5 for mine.
Yeah, you got a little bit more of a drive for sure. One of the guys that does a podcast with us, Dave Aldridge, he actually has a house on Gunnersville, and he's invited me up. I just hadn't made the trip yet to do it.
Yeah.
All right. BCW Bay. I think he kind of knows a little bit about this one here. Where your location is close to the Green Kayak Bandit controversy suspect. Please provide input on the issue.
Yeah. He's from around my area, and he had been like accused of all these little cheating things here and there, and I kind of knew he was not such a good guy around that kind of stuff, and that whole thing came out, and I was like, I mean, like I knew it. I knew something was going to happen sooner or later, and but I'm glad, the organizations did what they did to, get on top of it now. So
this, if I'm understanding correctly, it was kind of known that he was.
Yes, yeah, for months, if not a year or two.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I knew they had. Go ahead.
Oh, he was. There was, I forget what trail it was, but he was fishing on the Susquehanna River here, fishing too close to a dam or a fish ladder, and kept denying it. And there was another angler that had like video evidence, and he was denying it, and he got banned from that trail. And then he went and fished another one where I don't know the full story, but I think he had done something. He ended up winning the event, but he had also told his buddy something, and him and his buddy were doing some shady stuff. I don't know the whole story on that one, but
I wonder why. It makes you wonder why they, is it because it seems like it'd be easy to fool people? Is that why they do it? Or just the I guess it's the excitement of being, being first place or something. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
He also during the spawn here, all the fish on the river push up into the feeder creeks, and like they're so easy to catch on bed. They're so dumb and big too. Like we get 5-pound smallmouth everywhere spawning, and he'll go up there and post in these Facebook groups like, oh, had another 100-inch day, or had another 50-inch day, or 50 fish day. Like only during these times of year, and like we know what you're doing.
Yeah,
So that's kind of where it started with him. And,
I got
Any kind of cheating just puts a black eye on the whole
yeah,
sport.
and
I mean,
and,
Right.
and
just
there's a
across
law in
the-
Pennsylvania where you're not allowed to target fish on. We have a smallmouth season. Like it doesn't
Oh.
open until like the end of May or beginning of July. I forget what it is. And you're not allowed to target smallmouth on beds, even if they're spawning past that time. Like like it has to be a half mile past where a feeder creek meets the main river. So
Okay, so that kind of answers my question. I was going to say, well, if he's having those 100-inch days, but he's doing it legally, but apparently he's not doing it legally. That
yeah,
was the
no,
problem. So
yeah,
he's going out there bragging about 100-inch days, but he's sitting there literally in their bedroom catching them when he's not supposed to be.
yeah, exactly.
Yes, y'all got some crazy rules up there. I had no clue about the whole season versus
Yeah,
distance and all that stuff too.
I mean, it's like New York has their season too. I think it's ours is somewhat similar to theirs, but and we're not allowed to live well fish on the river from one dam that's like an hour and a half north of me, all the way down to a dam that's like an hour south of me. So all of our tournaments locally on the river here are catch, weigh, release.
Okay, so how they have a pretty? How do y'all do that? Do they issue scales? Do they? How do
Yeah.
they keep that?
Yeah, like in our club, we'll have scales, and then we do random boater co-angler drawings.
Okay.
So and I mean it's a tight knit club. Everyone's like super chill. Everyone's like such good buddies. Everyone talks to everyone, and so that, I mean there's never any question of cheating in that club or anything. And we've got like 60 members.
So I'm gonna keep asking questions about this because this has got me intrigued now. So with you've seen how we fish in the South, it's a free for all because we get to fish 365 if we want to. I mean, as
Yeah.
long as you're not over your limit or you're not breaking any rules or laws, you can do
Mhm.
whatever. How do you compare the two where you're at versus where we're at down here? How do you feel about that as far as like how ours is kind of open season where yours is kind of controlled chaos kind of stuff,
I'm jealous.
Really?
I mean that's the only way to put it. Like I get why they do it. Like the Susquehanna River was not known for being such a good smallmouth fishery up until 20 years ago when these laws came into place. And now it's like it rivals the St. Lawrence. Like I tell people this and they're like, oh, you're joking. I'm like, no, you can go out and like this past spring, me and my buddy went out for 2 days in a row. We sat in one spot and caught like 250 fish in like 5 hours both days. So
Yeah.
I mean it's done like, and they're not small either. Like we caught a bunch of 2-pounders, a bunch of 3-pounders, and then occasionally a 4-pounder.
Yeah.
So
do you? I mean, now take the jealousy part out of it. Do you think it would be more beneficial if we? And I'm not advocating for it. I'm just asking the question: if we had a season versus, or do you think? I mean,
I don't think it down there would make such a big difference, just because there's such a surplus of fisheries and diversity of fisheries. I feel like you can get away from the crowd of guys that overfish a place. Because like here, like I said, there's not many places to fish. So
I got you.
I think that's one of the reasons they look at that and enforce that so heavily.
I got you. I asked that question because I did a video about bed fishing last year, and you get the northern viewpoints of it from the seasons, and you get the southern viewpoints of it from hey, we can do what we want to. So
Yeah.
I like to hear both sides of it. And Kendra says she catches bass through the ice all the time. I know we're catching up comments to y'all, so we're going to kind of go back and forth. And then Kendra asked, have you ever fished over in Michigan at all?
I have fished in Saginaw Bay once or twice, but that's about it.
I've got some buddies that fished over there. I've never been to Michigan myself.
Saginaw Bay is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Really?
Yeah, the largemouth there, I've never seen a lure before, so you can go out and catch 100 fish a day.
Really?
All on like anything you want, really, all around the reeds and stuff. Like you go flipping and catch 100 fish. You go frog, catch 100 fish. You could put a leaf on a hook and catch 100 fish. It's yeah.
There you go. And Kendra was, like I said, we're catching up with questions. She said it's hard to keep up with social media when you fish and run a business. It's hard to balance it all. And I imagine with you, Dylan, trying to fish tournaments, do social media. Like I said, I was watching your videos today, and it's like remembering to do an intro and an outro, like stuff that I forget to do. I'm like, crap, I got all this fish catching, but I didn't do anything to make the video worth a crap,
Yeah. Yeah. During the season, 50% of it is fishing and 50% of it is social media. So
Right.
Now, do you have a videographer that follows you around?
I did for St. Lawrence, and I'm not sure if we're gonna have one for this year or not. I got to talk to my buddy because most likely what we're gonna do is have one between the two of us with the guy I'm traveling with, and switch off here and there. So
I got you.
I would like to. Makes things a lot easier than me remembering to push a button on the camera or so.
Dude, yeah, I'm telling you, I got cameras.
It's hard to keep track of all that stuff.
Yeah.
I run the cameras on my boat and I just start recording from when I launch and I don't turn them off till I stop. The problem is when I get back to the house and I've got 1 terabyte of footage on a 360 camera I got to go through. I'm like, that's hours.
Yeah.
Hours.
Yeah, I run mine on loops. I just have to remember within a 5-minute period to trip them.
That's my problem. Is I'm afraid I won't.
And sometimes you forget.
I do that. I run mine on loop too, and I always forget. Like I fished a BFL up in Oneida just because like I hadn't fished a tournament in a while, and I got bored, and I've never been to Oneida before, and I went up there and I caught like 40 fish that day, and I think I got 2 fish catches on camera because I forgot to turn my GoPro on and off. And
Yep.
Or you trap it.
Yeah.
And you forget to start recording again, and something really cool happens, and then you go back there and realize nothing.
Or I accidentally touched the screen and put it in time lapse or something.
Yeah.
Time lapse, or you hear it beep when it times out after it's just set not recording for a few minutes.
Well, that's like on the tournament Saturday. We're going from spot to spot. I would turn the camera off, because we're driving. There's no sense in recording in 5-10 minutes of driving. So I turned the camera off. Well, we'd already started back fishing when he caught his largemouth, the big one. And I was like, I looked at him, I said, boop. And so I got it in the net part of it, but I didn't get any of the fight. None of it was. So I was like, hey, I don't have any of that on footage, but I at least got him in the net. So that's a good thing. War Eagle, the best. Easton Fothergill used Nico primarily in the opens. What is your dominant bait you throw the most during the opens?
Probably a bladed jig.
Bladed jig.
Yeah, I'm good buddies with Easton too. He was a high school All-American with me, so I met him probably five or 6 years ago now, and I've been good buddies with him ever since.
Yeah, I heard him. He was on the live the day 2 at Clark. Was it live? He was on. I heard him talking Was it on the live?
Yeah, on day 2. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was talking about you guys, and he actually said some very nice things. He's like you're the one that people worried about. He knew who you were. He worried about you. So that's pretty cool to hear that. And I think this might be somebody related to you, Tom Fogarty.
Yeah, that's my dad.
Dad is still fishing with a 7-inch screen. LOL.
Yeah.
Hey,
he's got a jet boat for the river here, so
yeah.
He wants to get a live scope so bad. Like I showed him really how to scope like a couple months ago, and now that's all he wants on his boat.
Hey, get it. I mean, might as well. I mean, listen. All the guys that I know that have gotten it have used it and figured out how to do it. Like the older guys, like the guy that I fished with, he's had it for a little while now, but I remember him getting it. It was just get it, do it, because up until this last year, he was fishing out of a 94 Ranger. He just got that bullet or the Blazer that he's got. So, all right. Silver Punk. Any tips for spotting bass on the bottom on forward-facing sonar? Every time I think I see one, it ends up being a stick.
Yeah.
Or a rock.
I think it's all of us, man.
That blinker thing, like you were talking about, like I would say a rock's not going to pop in and out of your sonar. And, like I said, having a heavier gauge wire leading up to your forward facing and having good steady battery voltage all day, running a dedicated battery really helps. Yeah. Which I say that I don't even run a dedicated battery. I run it off my cranking battery right now.
Really?
So, yeah.
I had to put all my electronics on separate battery just because my background being electronics. I was like, I'm going to run on a separate battery. And then also, if you can afford a lithium, even if it's a dang Amazon special, get one of them because it's a lead acid battery. Unless you're running it through your charging system, every time you drain it down below 50%, you kill the battery slowly, more and more each time. And even the big ones only last about a year. So I finally bought me a cheap lithium that's been the best thing I ever did. Number one, it's constant power through the entire life of the battery. and number 2, it's clean power. So anyway, that's my preaching point on that. But I agree with you 100%. And the gauge wire makes a difference. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah,
I think,
and there's some really cool things coming out now that are live scope oriented that'll help you get cleaner voltage to your units. Like
yep.
Do some research on that kind of stuff because it does make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I use I don't know if many people know the ferrite beads, the ferrite clamps. I put them on my cables. That way it keeps interference from your other transducer wires or any power wires from going through there, and filters that you can put on. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. And then Silverpunk, he just got his forward facing, so he's really new to it. I kind of knew that. Kendra says she just had hers for the last season or so. Sorry, these guys are still talking about that.
You can always tell the new people because they're out there staring at the screen, going around, making little odd circles, looking around. Don't realize that they're putting too much heel or toe on their trolling motor, and they're just going off into the infinity.
Right, exactly. And then we got Michael Bradley, 25, said here the Hudson's closed until June 15th. Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't know what Tim. I don't know what we'd do if we had a season where there wasn't fishing.
Yeah, wouldn't it be something? It's like, well, the lake's closed.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing free for all.
Our biggest problem is they draw these Highland reservoirs down here, and sometimes you don't have enough ramp to get in the water. You're welcome to use it, but it drops off at the end.
Yeah, you're going to have to put in at the parking area basically because nothing's got water to it. It's like I want to go back to Lanier, but I'm gonna have to make it to one of the other boat ramps because Mary Alice was already out of the water the last time I went. I mean, the docks were. So yeah, for sure.
I usually go to Little Hall, and that's because it's a straight shot from the house. I don't have to, once I get over there, I don't have to go south or north. I can just literally roll right up on it.
Yeah, I was up past Little Hall Sunday. I had to go back. I went to Hammond's. I needed to get something from Hammond's, so I went up there, and yeah, it was Little Hall. Little Hall is a haul for me. So
yeah.
Dylan, do you hunt any? Do you do any deer hunting or anything?
Last year got a bow, and I haven't been able to get out. Like every day I have a chance. It's been like 40-mile-per-hour winds here, and but I turkey hunt and duck hunt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's awesome. The reason I asked that question is, if I'm not mistaken, is your area, and I could be wrong about the state, but do y'all have where they can't hunt on Sundays?
They actually changed it this year. You can't.
Did they?
There is 7 or 8 Sundays that you can hunt now.
See, we're not used to hearing that. Down here you couldn't buy alcohol on Sundays, but you could hunt all day. You could hunt every day you wanted to. And I remember hearing.
Yeah, I was going to say down here in the Bible Belt, you couldn't go buy alcohol on Sundays.
Yeah, but you could
up there. You can't hunt on.
Yeah, they can't. They couldn't hunt on Sundays up there. So
yeah,
wow.
I think we're like, I don't know any other states that had that.
I don't think
that's the first I've ever heard of that.
I knew it because of back. I used to hunt a lot more. I don't do it much anymore now, but I remember looking around trying to go. I was going to try to pick different states to hunt in. I was looking at the rules. And I was like, you can't hunt on Sundays in Pennsylvania at all. Like it was a big no. So,
and then they only changed it for deer hunting. Like you can only deer hunt on those Sundays now. You can't duck hunt or turkey hunt or whatever you want to do. Pheasant hunt.
Wow. That's So not only is their fishing season closed, Sundays are closed as well. So there you go. And Coleman asked, Dylan, do you know Damien?
I do. He's a good buddy of mine. He's from, I don't know, maybe 2 hours east of me. So I know him pretty well. I'm going to stay at his house on my way down to Kissimmee for the first open. So
there you go. Heck yeah, man. That's all. And you're going to be stopping by to fish the wonderful Lake Lanier, right?
Yeah. I'm stopping on my way down and stopping on my way back.
Man, I know y'all have a good time. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And when is it you're coming down?
January 21st. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it'll be on. And War Eagle says he wished we would have a break during the spawn here 1 month or so. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I say, we've had that debate here. We've had it on the show before about, not fishing it, but
right.
I don't know.
And we've had biologists on the show that are like, nah, you're not even knocking the den in those fish populations. Some of the stuff we think really damages them, and they're like, nah.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave that for a different show because we always get into that stuff, and
that's a whole other argument.
Man, it's just so there's so much like we need to take more fish, but you're hurting the fish when you boat flip it, or it's like, well, what are we doing then? I mean, what are we doing?
You can't make everybody happy.
We can't make everybody happy. Let's see, we got some more conversations here. Cranking and yanking and Kendra going back and forth, different stuff. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to scroll through some questions here. Well, we're at the bottom. Oh, Kendra Mule, do you have a retriever dog?
I do not. I've got a German Shepherd mix, and we just got a puppy. She's my mom and my brother's dog. I think it's a Shih Tzu and a Poodle mix. She's like super tiny. Like she's not supposed to get over 10 pounds. So
wow.
We had a lab when I was growing up, and she passed away when I was probably 10. Like she lived until she was like 16 or something. And so I would like to get another lab, but I don't think my mom and dad would appreciate 3 dogs in the house. So
yeah, well, sometimes that three is too many in my opinion, and I've got 3, so that's why I say that. And then Doc Holiday said, "I knew that boy was all right. He's a turkey hunter." There you go.
There you go.
Exactly.
That's my favorite thing to do in the spring besides fishing.
Man,
yeah,
it's a lot of fun. But I don't know.
You mentioned that you fished the Tennessee River a lot.
Yeah.
When you were in college, what was your favorite smallmouth lure and tactic on the Tennessee? Because I love the Tennessee river system as far as fishing for smallmouth.
You know, we never really targeted smallmouth up until Kentucky Lake smallmouth population started to come back, and we were only 25 minutes from Kentucky Lake at our school, and so seeing that come back was really cool. And that's really the only time I had targeted smallmouth on Tennessee River. I know going up to the tail races at Pickwick is a big thing, but we never really messed with that. We'd go down and we would catch smallmouth, but we wouldn't do it the way that other guys would. Throwing an A-rig or, scoping or even throwing a chatterbait up shallow on bars on Kentucky Lake. That was such a fun bite, getting in those big school smallmouth where you're literally hitting them with your chatterbait as you're running through them, and you can see their fins coming out of the water and stuff. So,
because here in Georgia, I mean, we don't have them.
Yeah,
we have to go about Chattanooga and north is where you can start finding smallmouth.
Yeah, I live about 10 minutes from Susquehanna River, and like I said, in my opinion, it rivals the St. Lawrence. It's dumb.
Yeah, I saw some of your YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Some of your YouTube videos are great.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Heck yeah, it's real good. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. Really good quality stuff too on your YouTube channel. Like, I mean, they're very well put together videos. I'm jealous. Like I said, they're really good quality. So you're doing a good job with that.
Yeah, that's the whole editing thing is something that I hate to do, but like
I was going to ask, are you doing most of the editing yourself?
I do all the editing myself, and I mean I hate it, but I'm such a perfectionist.
It's a pain.
I'm such a perfectionist where it looks like you guys are saying it looks good, and like it looks good, but like I post it, I'm like, oh, I should have done this, or I could have done this better. Like, but I just don't have the experience, and I hate doing it. So,
man, you're gonna have that anyway. I don't care how long you do it. I mean, I'm the same way though. It's like, you want to put together a good video and you get done with it going, well, that's crap. But it's not. You got to think,
and everybody else is going, no, it looks great. And you're like, no.
And I
miss this.
I watch Brandon Polnick videos all the time, and his is like some of the best fishing videos. And so like, I'm trying to mimic my stuff off of that. I'm like, this looks nothing like this. So,
well, I mean, it's like one of your videos. Well, I think it might've been the day 2 video. I can't remember, but you had a shot of your coffee brewing. I'm like, see, shots like that. I'm going, I never think about doing that. I mean, I get halfway to the lake this morning. I'm like, crap, I could have took a video while I was putting gas in the boat, made something for the intro. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I forget.
Shout out your YouTube.
Oh, it's Dylan Fogarty Fishing. That's like all my platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's on all.
Yeah. Somebody was asking in the comments right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in the comments real quick.
Yeah, stick it in there so you can get some followers.
Yeah.
Everybody on here needs to go click. As soon as you get off this podcast, go follow him.
Yeah, go watch my St. Lawrence videos. I think those were the most well put together and professionally filmed, and
they look great. Yeah, they really do.
Yeah, they're real good. They're real good. I mean, you can't, like I said, I'll be honest, when I looked on your YouTube and I'm like, you should have like way more subscribers than you do for how well they're put together. Honest to goodness, I'm not blowing smoke. They're pretty good. So And
I
they're actually
appreciate that.
they're good to watch too. It wasn't like I was going, okay, get to the point. It was like a good story, and that's what Clint Bartlett on our, he does a show with us. I don't know if you've ever met Clint or talked to
Yeah.
Clint.
Yep.
He's like, first thing is tell the story, and that you did a good job of telling the story too. So that's pretty cool. Andy Anderson, you had a great All-American class. Hoping you and Brooks do well next year and can join Tucker and Easton.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, those 2 years that I was in the high school American were pretty stacked. Like Brooks Anderson, Tucker Smith was a 2-time back-to-back with me, so I know him pretty well as well. Obviously Easton Fothergill and a lot of the guys that stood out in college really too. I don't know if you know some of the names, but like Jackson Swisher, he fished a college bracket, and I mean, the whole class was like. From being high school All-Americans to going to college, like you could tell that they were All-Americans because I mean they stood out and were always finishing in the top class of the guys. So,
right, yeah, I got to meet Andy the other day. Cool dude. Clayton Belmont.
He is.
Do what now?
Andy's cool. He had my Chick-fil-A sandwich, and he went above and beyond for Danny this time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I saw him. It was towards the end of weigh-in. He introduced himself, and of course, he's always on the show and stuff like that too. So that's pretty cool. Clayton Belmont, who do you look up to or admire? That's one of the questions I had written down here.
Ooh, I get asked this question all the time. Like not all the time, but like if I go on a podcast or something, I get asked this question, and I still really don't know how to answer it. And I think a lot of people expect me to say like Rick Clunn or Kevin Van Dam, and I feel like my answer would be Kevin Van Dam. I was called the next KVD in my family when I was growing up, just because I like to fish so much. But who I admire, who I look up to, admire is like my parents. Like I know it's such a cliche thing to say, but it really is. Like they got me into this sport and they supported me all the way, like even up until now. Like last year, I didn't have enough money from sponsors to pay for the Open's entry fees, and my dad paid them for me. And he said, "You don't have to pay me back. Like this is your dream. I want to see you succeed." And so that was pretty cool. And just like him teaching me the basics of fishing and getting me into this whole thing was something really cool. And like I said, I know it's a cliche thing to say, I look up and admire my parents, but that's really like they're the skeleton to this whole fishing operation. So
well, your family support, man. Yeah. That's the basic. You need that.
That
you need your family.
I was gonna say, man, cliche or not, whatever somebody says, I mean that's it. That makes a huge difference.
It does.
That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the clip of the second day I threw in there on my YouTube video. I was talking about how I wasn't like, I didn't think I had what it took to fish the Opens, and because I was talking to my dad about it, I was like, I want to go to the next level, but I don't think I'm quite there yet. And he was like, "I'll pay your entry fees. I believe in you. I think you do have what it takes. You're gonna go fishing." So
yeah, I saw that clip, and that's why I wrote the question down. Was because I kind of sort of figured that was going to be your answer. Would be your mom and dad. Your dad. I mean, listen, growing up, how many times we heard, you're gonna have to get a real job. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know I heard it growing up. Tim, I'm sure you heard it. I mean, and I'm not saying fishing's not a real job. Don't take it that way, guys. If anybody in the comments, what I'm saying is, it's huge once you have children to be able to let them chase their dreams. I mean, that's awesome that your dad did that and was able to help you do that. I think we all as parents, that's what we strive for, strive to do that. So I don't think it's a cliche answer at all. I think it's a great answer.
I had mom and dad on my jersey because they were my biggest sponsor.
I was just looking at my pictures that I had, and I must have cropped that part out because I saw that and I was like, crap, I cropped that part out. But I thought it was your jersey. I was like, it has his mom and dad's name on the front saying, their names or whatever. And that's cool, man. That's awesome. I mean, what else do you say about it? I mean, that's just one of those things, like it makes a big difference in somebody's life when they can do that. I mean, and dude, I think with that support alone, you'll probably be, you're going to be a pro one day. And then that's just even better, I think it's awesome.
Absolutely.
War Eagle the best. What trailers for bladed jig do you use? Why would you use bladed jig at Lanier for spots?
I I use it's a local company. It's called a Mimic Baits. I don't think he has a name for it quite yet, but it's like a jointed style, like a Yamamoto Seiko. Kind of looks like that.
Okay.
But that's what I use mainly. I did start throwing like a straight tail on the back, like I don't know, like we just came out with a Fisher Dye Shiv. It was a collab bait that I helped work on. And it's like a straight tail minnow bait, and those straight tail baits have a lot more action than you think they would behind a vibrating jig. So that's something I started to throw a lot. When I use a bladed jig at Lanier for spots, I don't know if I would use it for spots. You guys have largemouth too, though, right?
Oh yeah.
That's when I would. I mean, when they get up shallow, I definitely throw that around for the largemouth. I don't know, and you would catch spots on it. I'm sure you could throw it out in the middle of the lake where you're finding some schooling spots and catch them on it, but it wouldn't be my first bait of choice.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would depend on how you were targeting those spots for sure. I mean, I know where I fish at, you catch them shallow with the bladed jig. It's the same as you're going to catch the largemouth because the spots are running there with the largemouth a lot. So yeah, I think you could on Lanier for sure, but it might not be my first choice either on Lanier for sure. Michael Bradley, 25. Do you have any relationship with SFT or Dark Horse Tackle? They're both in your neck of the woods.
I do not. No, I've been to SFT. They're about an hour south of me. I've been there a couple times, once or twice, but no, not affiliated with either of them. Dark Horse Tackle, I don't think I've ever heard of them before. I don't know where they're at.
I'm not sure which one. I mean, I don't know if maybe I'm just not knowing the acronym there. SFT, who is that?
Susquehanna Fish and Tackle.
Oh, okay. That's why I don't know.
They've got a live show. They sponsor Greg DePalma.
Okay.
On the Elite Series.
I got you. Yeah. Good deal. And it seems like I've heard of Dark Horse, but I'm not sure much about them either. So, all right, guys, y'all come up with some more questions. Alex told me on TikTok I needed to beach my boat down there at Mary Alice. I didn't like the look of that one. If I'm gonna beach my boat, it'll probably be up at Vans. If I go to here again, that's at least a clean bank. When I was there with Underwood, it was at least a clean bank. Where Mary Alice looked like it was riddled with stuff. So.
You be scrubbing in the rocks.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, Mary Alice a little steep to park there, man. $10 a day, that gets expensive quick.
For boat ramp?
Yeah,
we've got down on the Chesapeake. We've got a spot that charges us $25 a day.
Whew, good gracious!
And it's it's the only ramp in that area that can hold more than like 10 boats.
Yeah, so they know they got the market cornered then.
Oh my god,
capitalism!
We can charge whatever we want to. Yeah, I pulled up with a $5 bill in my wallet, and I was like, I got parking. Nope, 10. Thank goodness they took a credit card or debit card or whatever. But yeah, so I have to go to. I don't know what Vans charges. They may charge 10 too. I don't know, but at least it's a cleaner beach there. Let's see. Andy Anderson, your dad is great. We were tracking every place in college angler of the year race. So close. Red River hurt us both. Me and your dad had spreadsheets pulling for you all.
Yeah. Yeah. My senior year, me and my partner we were in second place for college team of the year. And obviously the top three went to the bracket, the classic bracket. And, we were in second all year long up until the final event. And we weren't even the final event wasn't even on our schedule, but when our coach saw we were in second, we were being consistent. He was like, yeah, you guys got to go. And Red River is probably one of the worst fisheries I've ever fished in my entire life. I will never go back there unless I have to. And we ended up dropping to fourth place. And like Andy was saying, his son was also, in the pooling.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Crankin wants to know, did that can say Coors on it? Nope. Got the banquet. Got the banquet going. That's right. You might have just got some points with Crankin there. I don't know. Maybe it might reduce some of the scope part of it. And then Coleman says, y'all pay parking fees. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, Coleman, I'm the guy that if I pull up to the boat ramp and I hadn't paid my parking fees, DNR or whoever's in charge of that's I'll have a ticket. Just like if
Yeah.
I'm on the
Be
lake,
the one guy that gets a coupon.
yep. Just like if I'm on the lake, I've been twice. I'm on vacation this week. I was off 2 days last week, and both days, Marine Patrol came right by. It didn't stop. I think they see the cameras and like, we don't want to mess with him with cameras on his boat. But they every day. I mean, it's middle of the week. There's nobody else on the water, but Marine Patrol come right by me. The first time he slowed down pretty slow. The first time, but anyway. So yeah, I pay parking fees just for that reason. Michael Bradley has a great question. Do you have any non-endemic dream sponsors?
Not that I can think of, no. I mean, I'd love to be sponsored by like Benelli or something, but
Good to
That'd be nice,
you know,
wouldn't it?
pop one off at blast off for the Benelli guys.
yeah. Yeah, no, I
Nice.
don't. I try to stick to like the fishing side of things. Case Knives is one of my sponsors. They're located out of Bradford. Not like Case Knives and Zippo are owned by the same company.
Yeah.
But they've been super awesome to me. They sponsored me last year, my first season, and they're sponsoring me again. So they've got some super cool knives. If any of you guys in the chat need some nice knives, they got something for everything. So
Oh yeah. Case has always got a good blade. There's some good product. So I mean, I know we talked about it earlier, and you made the comment about sending out emails and stuff. I mean, like, did you just approach those guys and say, hey, look, this is what I'm doing, this is my plans? How did you break it down to them to make somebody like Case go, you know what, we're going to put some money behind this kid? And I say kid respectfully.
Yeah. So like I said, I approached companies that I had either used before or that were local. Something where I had something in common, that I could approach them about. I just didn't want to be all willy-nilly to some of these bigger companies and get lost in their spam emails. But I had three things that I would do. I would send a generic email, and it would be maybe 2 or 3 paragraphs, just like a little bit about me and what I was doing and what I was looking for, just in case if they weren't looking to do any of that, they could just discard it, whatever. And then I also had in that email that I included my fishing resume. It had all of my, high school finishes, college finishes, each tournament where I finished, all my, conservation stuff, all that stuff. Had how I was an Eagle Scout, how I started the club in high school. I was a 2-time All-American, all that stuff. And then I had a sponsor deck. It was basically a slideshow with, just something visually appealing. Had a couple pictures from my college fishing. Had a little about me section paragraph. It had my tier levels of sponsorship, so they could see, what each tier or how much would get them whether it be on my jersey, on my wrap, how many social media posts per month, stuff like that. And then, I'd have my like a little outro. I'd include my social medias, and that's how I would, approach those companies.
So basically, you built a marketing kit showing what they were going to get for whatever they were going to do. I mean, not just going, hey, I want to use your baits, or I want your money, but you basically said, here, I'm going to do this in exchange for. I mean, you're giving them value, I guess is what I'm getting at. Yeah. So that's a huge.
That's what they want to see. They want to know what they're getting in return for what they're providing you, whether it be baits, whether it be money. And it's super important to lay that out, because you don't want to be like, give me money to sponsor my season. I'm fishing. Like, okay, like what does that entail for them? Like, are they going to be shouted out on the live stream, like when you're weighing in? Are they going to get a sticker on your boat? Are they going to be on a jersey? Are you even wearing a jersey? So.
Right. Exactly. Let's see here. I got to scroll back up. What do you think of the new forward-facing sonar rules? Is your plan to fish them more prior to the season?
I mean, I think it's cool. It definitely it appeals to both sides. Like, I don't see why we had to do it. Like, guys that are complaining about forward-facing sonar, I feel like, are the guys that just refuse to take the time to learn it, because it's hard. It's not as simple as they make it out, and they refuse to learn it, and they keep saying that it's just drop a bait on their head and they eat it. And so between those two things, them saying that and them refusing to learn it, kind of is I see where Bass is coming from, having to make it the 50-50, coin flip or whatever. But I mean, I don't mind it. I fished many of years without it, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. I want to see, who's really a well-rounded angler.
Do you think?
I think it's more to appease the crowds as far as the new rules.
Well, that was going to be my question. Do you think it's the crowds or do you think it's the anglers? I mean, you'd almost think the angler. Well, I don't know. You really can't say that because the anglers are the customer. We know that, but you've also got all these people that subscribe to the magazine and this, that, and the other, and makes you wonder if it's more to please crowds or if it's actually more to please the anglers. I don't know what the anglers' input has been on that. I mean, you hear different numbers, but every time somebody says, "Oh, they did a poll," it's it's always skewed one way or the other for whatever reason. It seems like it's never been 100%. Here's what we're getting back. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I think it is a little bit of the anglers, but I think it is more based on the crowd. I feel like Bassmaster has seen all these comments below their posts are saying like, "I'm done watching." I don't really think that's necessarily true. I think they're still getting the numbers that they want, and I still think that these people are watching because, I mean, that like I'm not going to stop watching if they change the rule and I don't like it, or there's new technology and I don't like it. Like I still love bass fishing. I still like watching people catch fish. So,
here's my take on it, and it's worth what it is. I mean, it's just an opinion. Like we all know what those are, but watching somebody live scope is no different than watching somebody flip.
Mm-hmm.
You're still staring at their back, watching them do the same thing over and over and over again until they get bit. So watching it's watching it. I mean, watching somebody else fish is not fun. I don't care what anybody says. Mm-hmm. It can be fun, but it's not always fun. And I've said it before on here, us older guys, we remember when we watched it on Saturday or Sunday or whenever it was on TNT, and it was a 30-minute highlight clip. So it was always fun to watch because it was always just fish catches. It wasn't the 3 hours
straight highlights.
Yeah. It wasn't 3 hours of going down the bank watching a guy flip into a reed, or lily pads or wherever he's flipping. It was always just, Denny Brower setting the hook on one and yanking him out kind of thing. It wasn't anyway. That's neither here nor there. We'll get off that part of it. But, Silver Punk says for $25 they valet launch for me.
I'm with him on that. Yeah, I need somebody to put my boat in the water.
They should. No, they I mean, when they actually no, they don't even. They make you walk, a quarter of a mile.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We've got some electric only places over here where I'm at, and it's obviously you got to have a permit to fish the lake, and then they make you park like a half a mile away. And then it's known that your stuff gets broke into where you park at. So guys will break the rule and park down at the ramp when they get back to DNR's waiting to write them a ticket. It's like you're getting robbed either way.
Yeah, that's most of the small lakes around me. Like I said, hour and a half this way for a big lake, hour and a half for the Chesapeake. But the small lakes around me are all trolling motor only.
Yeah. Speaking of Chesapeake, I know it's a touchy one because it wasn't. it was a bad one. So I hate to bring it up, but I've got a good reason. What did you learn from that one? Because it's not. We always say it's not the good ones you learn the most from; it's the bad ones. And what did you take away from the Chesapeake finish?
I was stubborn, and I mean, just because I've been there multiple times, I consider it my home body of water. I knew I could catch them a certain way, and I didn't practice for a complete switch in weather, which you should always do. Like I could have gone on the weather app and seen that the wind was going to be blowing the tide back in. I was just, I knew, I mean, I was catching them good in practice. I knew I could probably at least top 5. And that's like what I stuck with. And like I said, I just got stubborn. I didn't expand on anything. I had like a 200-yard stretch where I was watching 22 pounds a day come up and eat a buzzbait. So like, it was fun too, and that was the worst thing. Yeah. Like I was having fun getting bit doing that, and I was like, I'm just like, this is gonna be a breeze. And then that wind pushed the water back up, and never got a low tide, and those fish scattered, and it's impossible to find them then.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. Like you said, it's hard to sit there and know you're gonna catch 22 pounds and go, well, I got to find a plan B. Yeah, I mean it's kind of hard to.
I I mean, I went for a plan B, and but all I did was try to replicate what I was doing on low tide. And
Gotcha.
I knew, I did look at the tides, and I knew that we were only going to have the tide that I wanted for like 2 hours a day. And I was like, okay, well, I'm getting 22 pounds of bites in 10 minutes. What's like 2 hours? I should be fine. I can mess around during, because it was like at the end of the day too, like before we had to weigh in.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, well, for the first, couple hours, I can mess around and do, fish history or whatever, or fish something where I got bit in practice. And, if I catch a fish, it's just a bonus fish, because
Right.
I'm gonna do most of my damage at the end of the day, and that's not something you should ever bank on.
Right. Well, you talked earlier about the Clark's Hill, and maybe it might have been before the show started. I can't remember. Maybe it was during the show, but about getting stubborn on day 2 on that one because you had one spot that you were catching fish on.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, you don't know. You just don't know them if they're going to reload, if they're going to keep going that same way. So, I mean, we all fall into that trap. So I understand that. Wacky Rig wants to know: do you ever fish a Helgramite? If so, how do you rig it?
I used to all the time, actually, up in my cabin. We've got a cabin just north of State College, Pennsylvania, and we got a river that feeds into the Susquehanna there. Lots of smallmouth, and they eat Helgramites all the time. I would just this is before I really got heavy into tournament fishing. I just rigged them on like a Ned rig type lure, or like Texas rig with a bullet weight and weedless.
There you go.
Anyway, I could get it to them, really. They'd eat it no matter what.
I've got a bag full of them. I haven't fished them yet. I need to break them out this year. Kendra says she's got a letter. She has an unpaid ticket from a ramp over 11 years ago. Have zero idea where. LOL. Huh. That's not those scams.
Got a warrant out next.
Do what?
She'll have a warrant out next.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not one of those. It's not one of those scam. It's not one of those scam ones, is it? Where it's like you got unpaid parking tickets. Call this number and pay some guy in a different country.
Send us a Walmart Green Dot card.
Yeah, and then Crankin says an Eagle Scout that live scope. Say it ain't so.
Yeah.
That's too funny. And then Kendra says the fact that you're an Eagle Scout is so cool. So that how hard. I've never done scout. I did scouts one time when I was younger, but how hard is it to get an Eagle Scout? What's the percentages of folks that actually make it to that level?
I don't know what the percentages are, but I mean, it was tough. Like, it's not all like fun and games like Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts. I went all the way up through Cub Scouts, all the way up to Eagle Scouts, and there was many times I told my parents I wanted to get out of it, and they made me stay in it, and I really am glad they made me stay in it. But that dang Eagle project that you got to do your last thing before you get your Eagle Scout, that was the death of me. I ended up building a set of stairs at the back of my neighborhood leading down to the creek, because I used to go fishing down there all the time, and it turned into like a muddy bank, and some lady fell and broke her ankle on it the year prior. And so that's what I did for mine. And like the amount of planning and the stuff you have to draw out and present to like a committee of people, it's like, when is this going to be over? And I ended up doing it when I was sick. Like, I was sick for like a week straight, and I was out there digging holes and putting beams in the ground. And yeah,
man,
it was fun though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure doing, like you said, doing stuff like that when you're doing on the river, the creek right there, you probably had to go through all the permitting for the local authority and all that stuff. So you had to go and do all that stuff, right?
Yeah, and you got to fundraise and get up. Like, I had like backfilling delivered like rock and stuff, and I had to put in a French drain and all sorts of stuff.
That's a big project. That's not a little deal.
Big commitment.
That's a big commitment. And how old were you when you finished that?
I think I was a senior in high school, so whatever age that puts me at,
17,
18, yeah.
That's crazy. So that's pretty cool. That says a lot about that. I mean, that's awesome. And Kendra says she's thinking about wrapping her boat with her business and looking for a few non-endemic sponsors for this coming season. Yeah, I mean, that's I'll be honest with you, wrapping a boat, that's an expensive expense. Unless it's come down since the last time I looked at it, it's expensive, like doing any kind of wrap stuff. So I can only imagine. Good luck with that. All right, is Dylan a ride or die guy with any one brand of rod and reels? Michael Bradley.
Rods, yes. I use Douglas rods. They're out of New York.
Yep.
Last year was my first year with them, and I love them. I was with one other rod company before, and I liked them, but like switched to these, and it was a world of difference. And like all the way up through college, really, I didn't have one kind of rod that I used. I was all over the place, and I still am with my reels. Like I've got Shimano, I've got Lew's, I've got old Kistler reels, I've got Daiwa, Fluger. Like I use anything I get my hands on, but I do like Shimano. I've been trying to like phase some of my stuff out and get some more Shimano. So
Alex Purrs, the guy that does he was doing Tuesday night. Now he does a Monday night kayak episode. He's with Douglas rods, and he said he loved them. He went from I think Cashin to Douglas, and that was within the last year, if I'm not mistaken. So, what about the Douglas rod? Do you like what's good about it? I mean, not what's good about it, obviously, but what made you think? What makes you say it's better than what you had before?
So me personally, I like a stout rod. I like a heavier rod. I don't like these rods. I feel like I'm holding air. That's just my opinion. And once you get up to like they're 7.1 to 7.4 foot rods, and you get power behind them, and it feels like you have power over the fish when you're setting the hook or you're holding your rod. Like I don't like this. Like if I'm flipping a jig on 20-pound test, I don't want to feel like I'm holding air and it's going to snap when I set the hook. That's just me.
Right.
So
there you go.
And like I said, I used them for a year, and I just got an order of like 20 more here, and I haven't even put them like in my lineup yet. I'm still using these rods that I used last year because they still look brand new. I haven't broken a single one. So I'm super impressed.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, because I'm that guy. I've got 6 different rods on the boat, different brands. I just added another different brand that I've never used before just the other day. So I'm always looking for like what's better about this. Biggest thing being the availability. That's one of the hardest things I'm finding is the availability of certain rods. Like we all know that rods, everything's different. My medium heavy in one rod brand is totally different than another rod brand. And you can't, if you don't sell it in the store, it's hard to put it in your hands and go, yep, I'm going to like that rod. And,
there's no standard. If you cross over brands and you think, oh, I want a medium heavy with a fast tip, you get theirs and you're like, this is not what I wanted.
Yeah. Like I ordered a Kistler. I love the Kistler. Of course I broke the tip on it, unfortunately, but I love the Kistler, and it wasn't the Kistler problem. It was my problem. The reason it broke, but I couldn't use it before I tried it. I bought it on faith, and it's a good rod. I do like it, but it makes it tough.
Just try out some of those Douglases. We got some cool stuff coming this coming year.
I'm gonna give them a shot for sure.
They don't even like really sponsor me. They don't give me any money or anything. They just give me some rods, and so I mean that goes to show you I like them. I'm using them, and they're not giving me any money for the traveling season. So.
Hey, that's, I mean, something you can't really catch the fish if you ain't got rods. So if you're getting rods, that's still the backing, I guess. I mean, it makes a difference at some point for sure. Mm-hmm. And then Jerry Catula's got a point where we're talking about the technology, and we'll keep talking about that if they want to. People do not want a sport where technology can be the difference in the outcome. Using technology to improve yourself, etc., is one thing. Using it during competition takes away from perceived skill. And if y'all want to touch on that, you can. If not, it's up to y'all. I will say this, and I've said it during hunting. If you watch any hunting social media, the guys will say, well, it's harder to hunt with a bow than it is with a gun, and so on and so forth. And I say it like this: until we're all out there hollowing out a tree, making our own canoe, and making our fishing rods out of cane poles and using sinew to make fishing line out of, we're all using technology to some point to improve ourselves and to prove ourselves. So that's my take on it. Again, I understand what Jerry's saying. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying that we're all using some kind of technology. We crank a motor up to go across the lake, whatever. But that's
you kind of hit what I was going to say. Like it's available to everyone, and it's up to you whether you want to take the time to learn it or not. Like it's not like it's. I mean, yes, groundbreaking is a touchy word to use, but I mean, it definitely it advanced it way more than like what we thought it would, and. Right. It was like when like 2D came out. or side
Yeah.
scan came out. I mean, like, it's just something you got to learn and get with the times.
Yeah. Now,
That's another tool
Yeah.
for the toolbox.
and I will say this: it can create brain rot, and because I've been guilty of it. I've been out there on the lake. I've seen other guys put on their boat. We go out fishing. I'm like, dude.
Uh-oh.
Did he cut out?
He locked up on us.
Oh, he's back.
Am I
Oh,
back?
he's back.
Yeah, I just got the warning that my connection went out. Sorry, guys.
You're only gone a few seconds. It's all good.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen guys use it and it be brain rot, and it's impossible to fish with them. So I mean, I get both sides. I'm not discounting what Jerry says at all. I just there's two sides to that argument, I guess. What I'm getting at. All right, we got one here from Ryan Potts. What turned you on in practice to dial in that bite for the team championship, and was it more worm or minnow?
Team championship? I'm not sure what he's talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. All righty.
I didn't fish that team championship on Hartwell, if that's what he's talking about.
I got you. All righty. What tournament are you looking forward to fishing this year? What tournament? Kent Goins.
I guess I'd be wrong to say if it wasn't the first one of the year down in Kissimmee. So,
what's got you excited about that one?
Just the first one of the year, like get those jitters
Okay.
out, and like, I mean, I haven't been fishing in like 3 weeks, so I'm already itching, and I've got another month and a half to go.
Right.
So, Kissimmee, just because it's the first one of the year. I hate Kissimmee with a passion.
He's looking forward to it, but he hates it with a passion. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
What makes it good? It's like I don't like it, but I'm going.
Yeah. I pull up the schedule because a lot of these places, like, I've never been. Like Kissimmee, I've been to once. Sam Rayburn, I've never been. That should be a slugfest. I'm looking forward to that one. Lake Eufaula, I've never been there. Grand Lake, never been there. Norman, I've been to once in January. Kentucky Lake, obviously, that's probably one I'm really looking forward to. Upper Mississippi, I've been there once. And then Lake Erie, I've never fished it out of where we're launching. We're launching out of Buffalo, New York. But I've fished it out of Sandusky and Presque Isle in Pennsylvania. So,
Gotcha. I guess I'm back. I keep dropping for some reason. I don't know what's going on.
We're all rotated around.
Yeah, I don't know why it's dropping me for some reason. Silver Pump, you got a question. Since you're an Eagle Scout, what are the best fishing knots?
I literally tie a Palomar and the trialing knot and an Alberto knot for my connection knots. That's it.
There you go.
I don't mess around with the FG or anything.
No FG knot guy?
No, Alberto works just good for me. So
yeah.
Well, the FG is about like forward-facing sonar. You've got a 50-50 split on that. People are like, either I love it or I can't tie the damn thing. One or the other.
I've never even tried to tie it, and I don't think I want to. So,
to me, it's not that bad. I mean, I learned it last year. I like it, but I mean, you're right. I mean, you can do some other options too. But I do like the knot if you can get it right. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
If you get it right, it's sweet. If not, you're just going to throw your entire leader across the lake.
I feel like that's what I'm scared to do. I'm scared I'm going to try it the night before a tournament, and then I'm just going to start slinging baits off.
No, that's one of those things you need.
Whole leader just sailing across the lake.
Yeah, that's one of those things you need to know probably 6 months before your first tournament. That's for sure. I wouldn't do it the night before. That's for sure.
Yeah,
because I went through about a day of tying it and practicing and messing up, and then I've been on the water before when I guess I messed one up, and it goes like you said, there goes the leader, and you're like, well, I guess that one's wrong.
Yeah.
War Eagle the best. How would you fish the upcoming classic? Concentrate on smallmouth or bladed jig for largemouth bass? That's a great question.
Honestly, I'd probably go for largemouth, even though I know smallmouth has been dominant there. I love getting up shallow and like cranking or throwing a bladed jig real slow for some winter largemouth. So that's probably what I would be doing.
Yeah, there you go.
He's probably just got cranking and yanking all excited right there in that one sentence.
If somebody figures that out instead of going and scoping, it'd be amazing to watch. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some big ones up there.
Yeah, like I was said earlier, that's your best chance for a big bite.
But I mean, we see everybody going out there in the same spots, and there'll be 50 guys on that one spot that Gussie wanted on, and I mean, it'll be the same.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll get somebody that'll hit the nail on the head with it and do it.
I hope so.
Silver Punk, he's got 2 Douglas rods. They're so sensitive you can feel the fish fart underwater. I like it.
Yeah.
He sounds like Cass.
I like it. I'm gonna have to get me some Douglas rods, I guess. Pers Alex he's got a bunch of this is Alex, the guy that he does the Monday night show. He's got a few of the LRS, the ERA, and a handful of X Matrix rods. He loves his Douglas rods.
Did you see his other comment? He's like, Tony, take me out. I'll let you use some.
Yeah. And
he's gonna barter a boat trip.
Well, me and Alex were supposed to fish last year, and we just never got together. We need to get out there one day. We need to get out there and do it one day for sure. And then Silver Punk, most of my rods are from Edge, though they are my favorite. Okay, there we go. And then Kyle Patrick, I didn't know that Kyle Patrick is sponsored by Douglas. There you go.
Yeah, he's from up there in New York too, so
right.
He's close by there. I think he lives like 2 hours from where they're made. So
yeah, and that's why when you said you're looking forward to fishing, Kissimmee, I was kind of surprised when you didn't say one of the northern lakes was you're more more excited about. So being from up that way.
I mean, Lake Erie, I am like I love fishing the Great Lakes. Like I think I fished Ontario more than I have Erie. But I mean Erie is just as good. So
those places, man, I don't know what I would do. I mean, those things are so massive. Like getting started, like where do you start? You know what I'm saying? That's the thing for me on that. Greg MX19 says he's an older guy with forward face sonar. If someone thinks that there's no skill in catching bass using forward face, need to try it. It takes perfect cast with the right bait. There we go. And then Father Time's in the comments. That's his old stomping grounds.
There you go.
Yep. So the Kissimmee chain, good deal. Michael Bradley says, if you had to take your shoes and socks off, tie a knot, it's not for him. There you go.
Yep.
And I've got a video that I saved somewhere, and it shows how to tie, and it made it super easy to do. It's not, to me, it's not as hard as people make it out to be. It can be frustrating, but it's not as hard once you've done it a few times. So
I think people put too much thought into it. They're worried too much about it.
Yeah.
When it's just go through the motions, make sure it's tight, and it'll be fine.
I broke off. Go ahead.
I watched my old college partner try to talk. He was never good with knot. He couldn't even tie an Alberto knot. He would have me do it too. And
oh no,
he tried to do an FG knot one night in the boat before a tournament, and I was watching him, and he had me like end up holding like part of the line. Like if you need 3 hands to tie this knot, you like don't tie it.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, Clint was tying one in the dark one morning before we launched. He sat down the boat tying one in the dark, and it held all day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had to tie one on the boat the other day for the first time. I don't remember why, but I think I broke my leader off, whatever it was, and I had to tie one. And I was like, "This is not where I want to be tying a FG knot." Is on the boat on I think it was actually a decently windy day too. And I'm like, "This is not fun," but it works. It's all about keeping tension on that main line. If you can, I mean, that's why most guys like I need 3 hands to do it. And Alex says, or Silverpunk says, people that don't like the FG knot just won't take time to learn it, and that's true too. And it goes back to one of those ones. If you've got an easier knot that doesn't take you all that time, why learn a harder knot? I guess, but I like the FG knot. And then Alex Purrs does talk about using the assist tool. Makes it really easy to do the FG knot too. I've not used it yet, but he has talked about that several times.
It's not that I can't tie it. I've just never tried, and I refuse to. So,
yep. And that's
hey, if an Alberto or an Albright's working, I mean, go with it.
Hey, you got it. I mean, again,
if it's flying through the guides just fine, then send it.
That's like the argument between what direct tie knot you use. People use the Palomar knot. I've used it. I've used the uni knot. Bass Fishing HQ calls it the double pits, and that's what I use now. I love it. It's super easy, super quick.
I have been using that forever, and that double pitson has never failed me. And I have crisscrossed a Palomar when I've gotten a hurry and cut the line more times than I can think, and I know it's my fault. It's not the line's fault.
You're right.
It's me I didn't make sure that it flipped up right, and it cuts itself.
Yep.
Because I got hurt.
I'm the same way with you. I had a big fish break off at the boat at the knot on a jig, and I quit using that knot because, again, it was my problem. It was me that did it, but I went to the double pits and knot, and it's, like I said, super easy to do. But yeah, kind of at the end of the questions on that, there was one question my last question that I had written down that we hadn't already answered, and it goes back to your opens, your first season, the opens. And I asked this to the young man we had on the other night. What was the one thing about the opens that you were not prepared for? And I don't mean like prepared as in, you know, you had all your gear or whatever, but what was that one thing that you got now that you've done a full season going, man, I did not realize this?
I think, I mean, and it doesn't really have anything to do with the fishing part of it, but the preparation beforehand, whether it be with your sponsors or like I've been in my garage for 3 weeks organizing tackle. I didn't know I had this much tackle. But like all that stuff, the computer side of things, social media side of thing, I wish I knew, you know, how much more important that was.
Right. I mean, that makes a huge deal. I know the young man the other night was talking about kind of like you working in the off season. I think he worked with his father. And he said that, you know, these guys y'all are fishing against, that's their career, and they're fishing daily, every day, preparing constantly, and that's all they do is fish. And he made the comment that he realized that he was going to have to double down if he thought he was going to even remotely, you know, be able to compete. And
that's one thing that I did think about before the first open. I was like these guys are like known, like they're big, like they can fish, and then like going into my first one and, you know, being in 7th place after day one and finishing top 20, like I was like, okay, I can hang. So
yeah. I mean, we've got a local guy. I won't name him because I don't even know if he's fishing the opens again. I know he fished it a couple of years, I think. But you know, he's a hammer. He's on the big trails around here and stuff like that. And you know, his first season did not go like he thought it was going to go. You know, I mean, I think it's just an eye-opening experience when you're fishing against the greats from every state and on different lakes and other states, kind of thing too. So, but yeah, Michael Bradley wants to know: do you have any game day superstitions? Any pre-tournament superstitions?
Got any voodoo?
Wear the same socks every day?
Nothing like that. I don't think I do. There I mean, there might be one or two things I do like subconsciously that I'm not thinking about.
Yeah.
But nothing huge, really. I don't think.
Only make right turns going to the lake, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
I don't think so.
I don't think I have any superstitions when it comes to that. I mean, that I don't really ever consider it, I guess. It's funny to hear some of the guys' stuff, but yeah. But guys, that's Tim. You got any more questions? We're creeping up on that time anyway, so
yeah, we're getting close to that time.
Yeah.
It's been a great show. You gave us a lot of knowledge, really.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm going to ask.
You're welcome back anytime.
I don't know if I want to end it on this question, but Cranking and Yanking has a question. I'm going to put it up here, and
I saw that.
I want to do due diligence here, so I'm going to ask it. If forward-facing sonar had never been invented, would you be as far in your career as you are now?
Yes, I would. And I mean, it's not like, yes, because I fished for so long before, you know, forward-facing sonar was a thing, but more so that I have that drive. Like, this is what I've always wanted to do. And like I've told myself, I'm going to make it work one way or another. Like, it's my dream, and I'm going to keep working at it however long it takes me. So
that's a good answer.
You're doing a great job.
It's a good answer. I mean, and if you know, if forward-facing sonar wasn't invented, they're still all on the same playing field, and it's still even across the board at that point. Everybody's got to be a good fisherman, kind of thing. So,
still fishing the lake, you still got to find them and still got to make them bite.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, Dylan, I know it's getting about that time. I look forward to you being able to get down to Lanier and seeing what those spotted bass are about, because they are totally different than any other place you've ever been, I think.
Yeah, you're going to love Lanier.
and going out there with Damien, he's gonna put you on him. He's gonna put you on him for sure. But man, we appreciate. Yeah, we appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us. Come back anytime. Shout out to me or Danny or whatever, and we'll get you back on again. And we look forward to having you back, and look forward to the season starting. Man, I can't believe it's already almost time for you to get started again. I was looking at that this morning. I'm like, holy crap, we're already almost in January, which is your first tournament. So good luck with that, and that's pretty much all we got. Yeah, Michael Bradley says good luck, Dylan.
Appreciate it.
And keep in touch with us. If you got any questions or anything for us, holler at us. Like I said, if you want to get on here one day and talk again, we'd love to have you back. But that's about all we got for tonight, guys. We appreciate everybody stopping by. Y'all make sure you tune in for the Thursday night show. Clint's going to be hosting that one. I couldn't be on the Thursday night show. Father Time will be on. Tim, I don't know if you're coming back Thursday or not, but
it depends on when the little one's Christmas thing's over with. Got to run up to the school and let them do their Christmas program. But I may make it.
Yeah, we are in the Christmas party season. That's what I'm doing Thursday night with my wife, and then Friday night with my job. And so it'll be fun. But guys, I appreciate it. Thank y'all for stopping by. All the comments, we appreciate all y'all. Y'all have a great night, and we'll see you Thursday.